Good to go. All right. Hope you're all doing well. Excited for the team. I thought it was a great football game. First of all, back and forth game, and I thought both teams showed a lot of grit in that game. There was a lot of ups and downs for both sides, and was really proud of how our team handled that. It's constantly kept responding in tough situations. Just recapping the game offensively. Obviously scoring 45 points. We started fast in both openers, first quarter and third quarter, which was a goal of ours. An area a year ago we were not good and really worked hard on that area. And so it was great to see him get off to such a good start in both halves. I thought overall as an offense we were very physical. All the position groups played a part in our rushing game, and offensive line, 7 players played well. The tight end group, the running backs, how they blocked and how they ran, the receivers downfield. Anytime you average 5.5 yards a rush as an offense, it says a lot. I thought Bailey handled the situation well and completing 70% of his passes, getting off to a good start, throwing a lot of catchable balls, took some shots in the pocket, and showed some toughness and rushed the football well for us. Ricky Person obviously had a standout game. All 3 backs played well, but, to rush for 100 yards, score twice with the ball and throw a touchdown was a great day for him. Only give up 1 sack, and Bailey did a good job managing a couple pressures. I think first game for the 5 starters on the O-line, that chemistry will continue to get better. It's the first time Icky's played a full game at guard, and to have Joe on the right next to Witt and Icky on the left, next to Tyrone. And then, I thought Tim McKay and Spees came in, and those 7 guys, will continue to get better next to each other as they get game reps. Just need to continue to get the ball to our playmakers, and, happy we only had 1 penalty offensively. It was a pretty clean game that way. Obviously, you'd love to take the 1 interception back. Things we got to get better at, and obviously you'd love to close the game out on offense, not giving the ball back to them. On defense, I think is really 2 different halves for our defense. In the first half, we could not get off the field on third down, had several third down situations we could have won and just didn't play the right coverage technique. There was no breakdowns. It was more of a technique thing that we've got to clean up, and did. I thought the DBs did a nice job on the outside. I thought our corners held up well on deep balls that were thrown at them. And all 4 of those guys played and were tested. Like you expect in the first game, there were some missed tackles, and some of that is playing 90 snaps. There was some fatigue, and we do need to rotate more in games like that. I think at safety and nickel, we could have rotated and got a few more guys in. Linebacking core, we played several guys. I thought Drake Thomas, who was our defensive player of the game, was very consistent, very productive. Peyton Wilson made a bunch of plays and has some things he's got to clean up as well, but played with tremendous effort. It was great to see Levi Jones have success. Came in and rotated on our first down, second down package, and then made an impact as a pass rusher on third down. Daniel Joseph and Aleem both had standout games on our front. And, it was good to see Jalen Scott and Calvin Hart get in and make some plays for us at linebacker as well. I guess the best thing defensively in the second half, we shored up our third down defense. We had 2 fourth down stops in the fourth quarter to finish the game. And we did force, 3 opportunities for takeaways and got 1 of them. But they were aggressive, to get 6 sacks and have 18 plays in the backfield as a defense is good. We've got to clean up the edges. There was times with the slow ride mesh that their offense has that our guys tried to play too many responsibilities. They were in their gap, and then they'd jump into someone else's, and the ball would eventually get to it or cut back to it. And so just some discipline things that we got to do, which we'll clean up. Special teams, really happy for Chris Dunn to break the school record like he did for consecutive PATs and made his only field goal attempt. And every point matters, when you win by 3, every single point matters. I thought our field position, I think we were plus 12 overall when you look at field position on special teams. And, and that was great to see. You know, we need to improve our tackling on our punt coverage. We had several guys down there that just didn't get the guy down. And so areas that we got to work on, and now prepare for Virginia Tech, who is a very experienced team. You know, they have 9 starters back on offense, 8 on defense, and all 3 specialists return for them. So very experienced team, team that's been in 27 straight bowl games. And obviously having 2 of their former coaches here, you know, we know their personnel, just don't know who's going to play with what they've been dealing with. And so we'll have to feel that out once we get into the game. But they're a physical team. They're a blue-collar team, very proud football team. And we look forward to competing against them and going up there and playing a game in a great stadium, a great environment. New defensive coordinator. So we'll see, you know, as the game goes on, if there's changes to their scheme. Obviously, they ran a system under Bud that was very successful for a long period of time, and the new DC did play for him. But we do expect to see some things different. Just not sure what they'll be till we get into the game. But they've always been, you know, who they are. They load the box. They force you to throw the football because they've got numbers. They're aggressive. They play with good technique, very sound, you know, on offense, balanced offense, tempo offense, lots of formations, lots of motion, jet schemes and read schemes on your edges with counters and powers and quarterbacks that can run the football and throw. So it's going to be a different challenge than we had last week. And one that we're looking forward to. You know, today is our off day, so, you know, get a chance to kind of heal up. Didn't get home playing an 8 o'clock game till pretty late, and the guys came in, both sides of the ball, played a lot of snaps. But kids bounced back pretty good yesterday, had good meetings with them, and now just kind of getting our stuff together here as we get ready for our practice tomorrow. But ACC football is 4-quarter football, and we know we're going to be playing a team that we went through the same thing that are coming out of, and how that can affect your conditioning. And we had that in our game. So we expect to see a lot of their players rotating. But I know they're not going to change who they are. They're a tough group, and they're well coached. Question?
Jonas, you want to start us off?
Hey, good morning, Coach. Hope all is well. You kind of answered this question a little bit too, but Virginia Tech coach came out this morning and said that he's not sure who he's going to have available. And, you know, they haven't played yet, and you guys haven't played them in a while. So how does that make prepping for them a little bit more challenging this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like playing an opening game because they don't have film that we can watch on anything they're doing differently. Even when you don't have staff changes, you're going to have things that you change in the off season, and you have personnel that makes you different. And they have a transfer running back that we've heard a lot of great things about in Blackshear, and you know, that is eligible for them. And they've got a transfer quarterback from Oregon. And so there's going to be players on the field that we don't know how they're going to use them yet. And so you just have to adjust. You know, you've got to use the rules of your systems on both sides of the ball. And there's going to be things we don't prepare, and there's going to be things that they don't prepare for because we haven't shown everything either. And you just have to adjust.
JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking out the time this morning. My one question for you is you guys had the 6-game, I believe it was a 6-game losing streak within the conference. How satisfying was it for you to come into the office Sunday morning and into this press conference on Monday, coming off of a win, and not only a win, but a win to start off your season and be 1-0? How satisfying was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy for the players and the staff. A lot went into this offseason, and a lot went into everything you guys know about dealing with the crazy spring and summer and fall we've had so far. So for all that work to come out in the game we had, how well we played at times, you want them to savor that. You know, it's not enough to walk in, no, you guys played hard, you know, but they want to win. And so for them to have that feeling, obviously I love to have that feeling as well. But, you know, I said this to the team before the game. It was their night, you know, and I wanted them to have that satisfaction and that enjoyment in the locker room afterwards. So I was very happy for them.
Brett Friedlander.
So, judging from the depth chart, Bailey, I'm assuming Bailey is the starter on Saturday. And if so, and if Devin is ready to come back and start practicing, how do you manage reps this week to get him back, but also keep Bailey prepared?
Well, we're going to need both of them. We're one injury / COVID test away from having a different player at every position. And so, we need our quarterbacks to be elite, whether it's Devin or whether it's Bailey. Proud of Bailey and what he did. Devin did practice last week, and he'll practice again this week, and he'll continue to get better. When that happens, I don't know. But right now, Bailey did some really good things in the game, and he'll continue to be our starter until we see that Devin's in a position to play. But, it's his team right now, and we're going to continue to support them both and get them both ready to help us win.
As an unrelated follow-up, on ACC Network today, you talked about a little award for pancake blocks.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little about that? And how many, whose idea was it, and how many bottles of syrup did you give out?
We started doing that maybe 2 years ago. So I guess we kept a good secret here for 2 years. But it's something the O-line, takes a lot of pride in. They sign the bottles and put them up on a shelf in the room. And so it's just kind of a way to reward what we talk about here. We talk about being tough. We talk about winning the line of scrimmage and playing physical. And so it's a way to reward that. Not a lot does, as you know, do linemen get love. And so it's a way for us in our Sunday meetings after a win to give those guys that love, and the whole team goes nuts about it. And, we're incorporating tight ends, backs, wideouts, whoever's involved in those blocks gets that love from the staff and from their teammates. And, it's just something that we take pride in here, is finishing blocks that way.
Mike Barber.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I wanted to ask you, Charlie Wiles, how did he come to be in your employ? What has he added to the staff? And have you talked to him at all about his emotions this week of facing his former team?
Yeah, well, Charlie's reputation is well known. And I didn't know Charlie very well. I'd only met him a couple times. Obviously, we've recruited against Charlie my whole time here. He's recruited the Carolinas and done a really good job in the state. And so when the move was made to bring in a new defensive line coach, we wanted someone that not only was a fit here for our players, but fit what Coach Gibson wanted, fit what I wanted in recruiting, fit the type of person I wanted in the room. And Charlie was one of several people that we interviewed, and he was just the right fit for the job. And timing was in our favor. Charlie would still be there probably if he hadn't been, asked to leave. And so, we just got fortunate. Sometimes timing is everything when you're talking about hiring coaches. Sometimes you can't get a coach even though he may want to go because of his contract. And we were just fortunate to find a guy like that. And he's doing great things with our young men. He's a cultivator of chemistry in that room. Those guys play hard for him, and I know he does everything he can to help them. As far as his emotions, he said this game's about the kids. Obviously for a coach, it's going to be something that you want. For him to go back into that stadium, probably going to be emotional for him, but I think he'll tell you that the game's all about our guys, and that's where his focus will be.
He's a pretty big personality, or at least he was with us. I assume the same there. How's he fit in personality-wise with you guys?
Yeah, he's a lot of fun, man. I mean, he's a guy that keeps the room alive. If things get tight, he's got a one-liner or a joke, and he knows how to make people laugh and keep things where they need to be. He's been a great addition here for our staff, for sure.
Corey Smith.
Coach, going back to the O-line, now that you've had a chance to go back and look at it, obviously being able to see it on film, just how impressed were you with all five of the guys that you had out there on the field, particularly, your five starters that you had out there? Yeah,
it was a good first game for them. I mean, they played fast. I thought they communicated well. Grant Gibson, IDs a lot of things for us in the pass and run game, and he was spot on most of the game. I thought Joe played like you'd expect Joe to play. He's very consistent. He's physical. He plays with his hands. He's square. It was good to see Justin Witt and Tyrone out there together. It's been something we were hoping to have last year and didn't because of Tyrone's injury. So it's a good group. And I think, Icky brings a lot of fire to that group. He's very physical. It starts and doesn't finish the whole game. He's trying to knock people on the ground, and that's what he does. And he brings a lot of juice to that room.
Did Icky earn 2 bottles for that first block that he had?
He got 5 for the game. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Todd Gibson.
Hey, Coach. Drake Thomas had a great game for you on Saturday. What makes him the player that he is? And do you think that some schools might have backed off of him because of his height, possibly? And what do you see future-wise for the kid from just down the road?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's tough, and he's got great vision. I think linebackers have to be able to see things. Their peripheral vision has to be really, really good. You might be staring at one thing, and different colors are going to go across, and linebacker vision's different. You've got to be able to see 3 things at once, really, and the flow keys that happen. Drake's just got that instincts and vision. He's a good tackler. He plays hard. He's he does not get tired. He's got great stamina. He's trained himself well. As far as his height goes, I think there's a lot of measurables in football, and sometimes you're right on the money. Sometimes you're not. There's exceptions, and he's one of those guys that maybe not be as tall or long as other players, but he outplays them because he's fast, he's physical, he's strong, he's tough, and he can play all 3 spots in our defense. So he's very versatile for us at Sam, Mike, and Will.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Joe Giglio.
Hey, Dave. Quarterback is a position where guys often transfer. What was your conversations like with Bailey Hockman to kind of keep him coming back this year? Because he's turned out to be an asset for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of private conversations you have with players, and I knew coming out of the year that he was disappointed. We sat down and talked about the things that he's thinking and what he wants to do. He made it very clear from the get that he wants to get better and he wants to be here. And he was going to do everything he can to show us that he can play. I just said, do everything you can, continue to get better. And when your opportunity comes, cash it in, and you got to give the kid credit. He's been through transferring already, and I don't think he wants to live that life again unless he has to. And so, he's bought into what we do here. He's been a valuable asset to all the quarterbacks, even when he wasn't the guy. I thought he was a good teammate with those guys in the room. And that's the thing that Coach Beck and Coach Proctor, I think, preach up there. It's a team game, and you may not be the guy today, but you will be eventually if you handle all your situations right. And, to his credit, he's done that. And I think Devin's now doing that the same way. And that's what you want. Every kid wants to be the guy. And so I think some of them understand the value of just continuing to learn and grow and get better.
Did Bailey seem more relaxed to you than at any point last season, i.e. he's not looking over his shoulder, wondering if you're going to take him out?
Yeah, I think for all those guys that transfer, their first semester is hard. And you don't know your teammates yet. Everything is new to you. You don't have that, just familiarity with the coaching staff. You weren't recruited with anyone on the team, so you don't have a recruiting class that's kind of your boys, and so it was hard for Ryan when he first got here too, and his year 2 was much different socially for him. And Bailey's now got his circle of friends, guys that he hangs out with, and he's a lot more comfortable. So I think that's a natural thing when a kid transfers in. And as a coaching staff, you have to do a lot to try to help him through that.
Jackson, and I don't know how to say that last name.
Coach, you guys obviously got to start the year off at home, and COVID's changed a lot of things. What are you kind of expecting in terms of anticipating changes going on the road?
Well, it's our first COVID road trip, so you're taking 8 buses instead of flying, and so we're spread out as a team. You're wearing a mask on a bus for 4 hours. And you get to your hotel, and really each hotel is different. It's based on how big the rooms are and how many players you're allowed to have in a room at one time. But we'll continue to, same thing we did here, use the social distancing rules that we have to keep our guys where they need to be testing-wise.
Jared Fialco.
Dave, Jonas kind of touched on it earlier, talking about what Coach Fuente said this morning. He also added at the end, I hope we are able to play. I'm sure that doesn't affect how you plan and how you perceive the rest of the week. Is that one of those lingering thoughts in the back of your head, though, throughout this whole point, is that at any given moment, the other shoe may drop?
No, I think that's just how life is right now with this, you know. We're going to plan like we're playing a game every week. And as you've already seen from us, we had to move our original game with them back because of our situation. So we all know what the realities are of it. You know, you just go with what you have. Right now we have a game that's on the schedule. Nobody said we're not playing it. We're preparing to practice like we are. And if things change, then we'll change what we're doing.
Thanks, Coach.
Andrew Schnicker.
Dave, there was a lot of talk last week from you guys and from Ricky about everything that he went to both physically and mentally in his first couple of years, and I know you made him a captain for Saturday's game. How proud were you of the way that he stepped up with some of the big plays that he made, and how good a feeling was it to see him break through in that way now that he's healthy?
Yeah, well, and that's how he practiced. So, you know, I think that's the biggest thing that players learn is when they practice well over an extended period of time, they usually play well. And so Ricky got that feeling of being able to go through an entire fall camp and stay healthy and then go into a game with all the prep that he had, all the reps, all the timing, and it paid off for him. And he played really well. He was physical. He was vocal. He had great energy. He executed within the scheme. And so I was very happy for him, and you know, success will continue for him. I mean, that's all these guys that go through that and learn. You know, he was playing this first 2 years here with very limited practice time. I mean, very limited. Every week there was something he was dealing with, and those were things out of his control. And so I'm happy for him that he's having the success that he is, and he's definitely worked hard to deserve it.
Brett, you have a follow-up?
Yes, going back to the question about Charlie Wiles, how much can you or will you lean on him this week to help prepare you for what you might see at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I mean, we have Charlie and Brian Mitchell, our corners coach here from there. And so, you know, mostly it's just things that you know about their players. Again, you can't predict what they're going to do. And so, you know, things that you can get information-wise on personnel and things like that, we will. The tough part of it is we don't know what personnel is going to be out there, you know, so, and it's helpful to, I guess, write up a really good scouting report, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's who we're going to be playing against, right? So it's going to be a big game of adjusting, you know, who are they playing with? All right, what are they doing with those guys? How do we need to adjust both sides of the ball? What are the things that are the same? What are the things that have changed? And our players and coaches are going to have to really be locked in on being able to adjust on the fly.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Yep.
Jonas.
Coach, last Thursday we asked you about since there wouldn't be any fans, your guys would have to bring their own energy on the sideline.
Yeah.
How do you think they did at home Saturday, and how much are they going to have to elevate that on the road at Virginia Tech on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I think they did well. You know, I think we talk about 4 phases of the game, you know, offense, defense, special teams, and then our team sideline. And they're all a part of what we do. I think the guys on the sideline, some of them were there for the first time. And so was it the best it could be? Probably not. Was it bad? No. There was a lot of positive energy there. To answer your question, yeah, you have to bring your own energy on the road no matter what. And I can tell you, as weird as it is, playing a game with no fans, once you start playing, you don't even know. You know, I mean, you're so locked in on what you're doing. So we're going to rely heavily on the 80 guys that make the trip to support each other throughout the game and continue to give each other, you know, the positive feedback and energy that they need.
Corey Smith, you have one more?
Yeah, Coach, I know you normally obviously don't give an injury report like that, but Tanner Engel going out on Saturday night, just wanted to see if there was any update on his status for this week as well.
No, we're hopeful. You know, we came out of the game with most of our team feeling really good that way. So I'll meet with Justin later today. He's doing treatment with the team right now and just kind of where we're at. But so far, so good. And hopefully we'll get a few more guys back too. So I know we had a couple of receivers that, you know, couldn't come because they were still in quarantine that are back now. So hopefully we'll be able to get those guys going this week.
Thank you.
Rob McClam.
Dave, I think you might have one of the youngest defenses in the country. They did allow 5 touchdowns Saturday, but also it seemed like when the going got tough, they made the stops. how do you sort of look at that, take that in perspective in terms of, yeah, we have work to do, but they also at times showed some resolve.
They did, and they made a bunch of plays. And the things that weren't good are things that are correctable, and I think that's the stuff that you look at. It wasn't like people were just running by our DBs like you saw last year. I mean, our guys competed for the ball. They made plays on the ball. We weren't panicking and PIing guys at the moment of truth on deep balls. I thought the guys showed good body control. And when we were tired, I mean, it's a 90-play up-tempo offense. They made plays. I mean, I thought we got better as the game went on third down, and that says a lot about their mental toughness and the conditioning aspect. But, yeah, I mean, there's going to be things that happen to them as first or second-year players that you have to correct, and then it's their job to not let the same thing happen again to them.
All right, one more question, JB Ricks. What'd you have?
Yeah, Coach, I don't want to be the one to assume, and forgive me if this may have been answered already throughout this entire press conference, but are you ready to go on the record to say that Bailey Hockman will be your starter at Virginia Tech this Saturday?
Yeah, we're going to get into the week and see how things go. Right now, that's our thought. But again, we finished the week, and like I said, Devin is taking reps and getting better. But if we were playing tomorrow, that's what we would do. But, I think Devin deserves that opportunity to keep getting better in practice, and he will. And like I said, we've got two good quarterbacks, and we just got to keep getting them better, both of them, and they both need to be ready to be our guy. And just super happy with what Bailey did in his opportunity and look forward to helping them both this week prepare.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks, and thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Appreciate it.
Peace.